Hello, WRIGSers. Welcome to episode 4 of the WRIGS Podcast, the weekly reflection, introspection, gratitude, and sharing podcast. It's Monday, so I'm a day behind. I was meant to go back on Sundays to record, but I've had a very busy weekend. Really tired, not much sleep, all for good causes, but yeah, that made it hard to record, and even today I was still very tired. It's 7:30 here, which is 90 minutes from my usual bedtime, and I was not motivated, but here I am because I said I would hold myself accountable. So, need to do it. It's been hard. I haven't had the motivation today or the last few days, but just starting it, I'm already feeling better, even though I haven't even started reflecting on anything. So, kind of shows like, I don't know if you've ever heard that saying, motivation doesn't come on its own. Action gets you motivated. So all I had to do was bring up my chair so I can sit down, and it felt like I was finally on the way of recording. I have made notes from last week, not every day, but I've got like maybe 3 or 4 main points throughout the week chronologically. So there's progress on this. It's probably easier to do. It was probably easier to do because the beginning of the week last week wasn't that great mentally, and probably up until Wednesday. I'll come to it and how it changed and why it changed. Hopefully find some solution. But yeah, at least it made me think about things, and now I have things to say for the next half hour, hopefully. So I guess I'll just start with Monday and Tuesday, which was a bit blurry. The beginning of the week was just not great because of what happened last weekend. If you remember, I caught up with a friend, had to give them CPR because of things that I wasn't aware of, and I felt a bit manipulated. I thought somehow it was my fault, and that it could have been a lot worse, and I felt guilty of it. And even though I know that it's not my fault, it's them, and they have issues that I really hope they're gonna get through and work through. They are aware of it, but they're not just quite there yet in terms of change. But yet I did feel very guilty, and as if somehow it was my fault. I think I should be a little bit more honest about the whole situation. And this person is someone I met a few years ago. We tried dating. I was really into her. And I think that the idea of her being into me was very, made me feel good. It never worked out, nothing ever happened. We stayed friends, in contact, just because it's not because someone doesn't want me that I need to cut ties. They're still a good person. But we stayed friends, stayed in touch for the last couple of years. Nothing ever happened because she wasn't ready, which is fair enough. But basically, this weekend, this person told me that she was leaving the country. And we ended up being just the two of us before all the drama happened. And we were discussing about basically why or how it never worked out. And she made me all those compliments about how she thinks I'm a great guy. She finds me attractive, that I'm nice, that I've made so much progress. Which on the night was all like great to hear, made me feel so good about myself. But I think straight away I went into, is there something going on here? And that's definitely my search for external validation talking. Unfortunately, as aware as I was on the night, I fell for it, I guess. Not that it was a trap, but instead of respecting my boundaries, I think I was ready to do more or less anything to get intimate with someone, because this has not happened in a long time. I want to say months, but probably more like years actually. Real intimacy, not just meaningless sex. Just real intimacy has been a long time, and it felt like because she's a friend, we would have that. But it also, but nothing happened on the Saturday for the reasons that I mentioned in the previous episode. But for the next few days, I felt so sorry for myself, because I went into this narrative of, here we go again, someone finally likes you, and the world makes it that it doesn't happen. 2 years ago with this person, she wasn't ready. I've had other experiences with women where it's like, oh yeah, you're great, but this I can't do, or I'm leaving, or whatever, blah blah blah. And I always feel like as if I'm unlucky, or it's fate and I'm gonna end up alone, because something always happened against me getting into a relationship. And I just felt sorry for myself, and I felt like shit, because I know on a logical level that this is not true, that this is not a reflection of me. But yet, and if anything, it's probably a big red flag. This person literally told me that she found me most attractive about 6 months ago on my birthday, when I said that I didn't want to be with her because we tried and it didn't work and we had to move on and stay friends. And I didn't think anything of it. But to her, it went as if she would lose the opportunity, I guess. And then she was like kind of attracted to me again, which is a red flag. Like, and it might not be conscious from her, but I'm aware of it. And yet I was still attracted to her and the idea of possibly getting with her for one night. And I think this is what hurt me the most, is that I realized that I'm still attracted to the wrong things and red flags, even if they're not mean and people are not intentional with it. I didn't respect my boundaries, and I just felt very insecure. The minute she mentioned she was interested, or I felt that she was interested, I groveled. I would have said anything or do anything that night to make it happen. And it's just so hard to feel so insecure just from a couple of sentences, because that's what it is. I'm so insecure that whenever this idea of me not being alone appear in front of me, I go above and beyond and I bend over backwards to reach it, even if it's not a healthy choice. I'm pretty grateful that I can reflect on it and then I've managed to identify it. But I was not good for a few days, like really down, really upset with myself. It just sucks. It really does. Just all the time to be looking for validation. It makes me wonder if I've made any progress for the last 2 or 3 years of therapy. It makes me feel shameful, because even though I know that these are not healthy behaviors, I still do them. And everything is so deep inside of me that I don't realize until later on. And I guess it is good that I can reflect on it and realize it, but on the moment, it's just so painful. It really is. Thankfully, I think on Wednesday I was listening to a podcast, and it was from the Diary of a CEO, the podcast that I've been inspired from to make this one. And the guest said, his name's Dr. K. I can't remember his full name, but his name is Dr. K. And he made an analogy that really resonated with me. He said, no matter how good you work on things, on yourself, it won't remove the bad. It took me a moment to realize, to understand. Well, I mean, it took me a moment to understand. I didn't understand what he meant until he explained this. He said, if there's a glass of water and I piss in it, no matter how much sugar or how much flavoring I put in that glass of water, the piss is still in. In order to be able to drink that water, you need to remove the piss. Now, how? That's the $1 million question, but that's what it is. If my life is the glass of water, the piss in my life is me identifying as forever alone, as I will never get someone. If, in order to be able to enjoy the glass of water in my life, I need to remove the piss. I need to remove this idea that is buried deep inside of me that I'm going to end up alone and I don't deserve love. Now, I don't know how, but at least I guess I know what the end goal is. I need to change this identity, the way I identify myself in terms of relationships. The problem is, how do I know that this is the issue? How do I change it? If I find a way to change it, how do I know it worked? How do I find all that? So a lot of reflection to do on this, a lot of things to learn, a lot of things to unlearn, change my mind about myself, think of me as successful instead of the loser that never gets to girls. Because that's what it is. I think deep inside, this is the opinion I have of me. And people can feel that. No matter how successful I can be, I'll never feel successful unless I'm with someone. And that's because I identify as someone who's going to be forever alone. So I need to change that. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. I'm going to have to dig deep. Maybe this podcast will help. Maybe some fake it until make it. I don't have therapy until January now, so another month. This is definitely something I'm going to bring up. But yeah, not a great start of the week. Feeling sorry for myself, like I made the whole mistakes, and I had this attitude of, here we go again, the world is against me. Finally someone likes me, even though for bad reasons. And it's not happening. And it didn't happen. And I'm gonna end up forever alone. I don't know what happened in my life for me to think that it's clearly a fear of abandonment. And that's why I'm so insecure, because as soon as someone likes me or says they like me, I just go head over heels, because I'm hoping it's gonna happen, because I'm too scared that it won't. I can think of a couple of things. I think my dad wasn't that present, not as present as I thought that he was. I think when I was a late teenager and young adult, I had two relationships, where in both cases, so one when I was from 17 to 18 and one from 19 to until 20. In both cases, I got dumped for another person. And I know we're just kids at that age, but I think it really did shape my personality. Maybe not 100%, because maybe I was already insecure, and that's why I got dumped. It's hard to tell. I've always tried my best to be a good person, but I was too much of a people pleaser, and maybe that reflected on my personality. It's hard, man. It's really hard to put all that work to be as genuine as possible, and as to try to be the best human I can possibly be, and to think that maybe that deserved me. I don't know. I'm still a good human being. I like to think so anyway, but I'm not sure it brought me the happiness that I thought it would. Tough times. I've tried to move on though. I'm pretty grateful. I've had one of my friends reached out and has just checked on me, and in the past I would have brushed it off and said I was okay, but I just said that I was having an average time, and they had some really kind words to me, which it's always good to hear. They explain how much I've helped them, even recently, and that made me feel better about myself. But yet there's still that little voice that says, yeah, but you're gonna end up alone. So, excuse me. Yeah, I guess I just need to work on that. I don't know how. I changed my identity. I've made notes. I should research it, but I know I won't. I'm too busy. Don't have the motivation or the discipline at the moment. But it is what it is. I'm not gonna give up. Hopefully I'll crack the code one day and I won't be too old to enjoy it once I do. Gotta stay hopeful. The rest of the week it's been hard, because then on Thursday too, I went back to training after taking a week off because my lower backs were a bit sore and I felt better. But just one session and it's back to this soreness, so gotta see someone on Wednesday. It doesn't weigh on my mind not being able to move yet, but it is frustrating. I'm a little bit anxious of what it could be and how long it's gonna take to heal. Moving, training, sports, CrossFit, it's always been my safe space. When everything went to shit in my life, or whenever I was the most depressed, it was the one place I felt like I had control. That if I did things right, the result would show, and they did. And so when I'm not able to train and to practice and get that sensation of progress, I've find it hard. It makes everything else in my life so much harder. I've already put on a couple of kilos. I'm feeling sluggish. Added to the average week that I've had, it's it's complicated. I really hope Wednesday is gonna be like helpful and I'll have some good news, but I need to prepare myself for it, for not having good news. Bringing on to the end of the week, it's been a very busy weekend. My gym celebrated their 10 years anniversary, which is a huge milestone. I'm very proud to say that I've been there for 9.5 years out of the 10. So we had this big party in the gym with pretty much all the members. I think there was like maybe 75% of the members were there. Plus some of the people that were there at the beginning, but not anymore. I had a great night, great turn up, had a few drinks, good chat with people, really good fun. But during that night, there were speeches, and there were also a video, basically a 5-minute video with heaps of pictures and footage of the gym from the very beginning, from the old location we used to be at up until more recently. And I was watching that video like everyone else, and I just got very, very emotional, pretty much out of the blue. I saw pictures of me from probably 2016, so at the very beginning of my CrossFit journey, and he reminded me that I used to live in a hostel in Australia 10 years ago. I was going to work in the city on taking the bus, public transport, and to walk from my hostel to the bus stop, I was walking in front of that CrossFit gym, and I saw these people working very hard, and I was wondering what it was. And after seeing it like 3 or 4 times during the week, I was like, what is this? I just walked in. I mean, it's a CrossFit gym, so the doors are always wide open. But I just walked in and I asked, what is this? And the owner just told me, it's called CrossFit, come and try. And I said, okay, I'll just try. And 10 years later, this is my life. This is what I enjoy doing. This is becoming a career. This is my mission to make the world a better place by helping people out. This is gonna be my career, my business. My goal is to open my own CrossFit gym. And to think that I'm finally in a place where I know what I want to do, where I have found a purpose into helping others. And then on top of that, it pays the bill. I can live off of it. It's rewarding. It's everything I could have dreamed of. It's hard work. It's consistency. It's empathy. It's connection with the members. I've only been a coach for a year, not even. And I just love it. And I've had so many positive feedback on that night from members that are just really grateful for me. And to see those pictures in these videos, to think that me, who had never touched the barbell in my life, and to realize the impact that it had on my life, and that the impact that I have on other people's life, it's just it made me very proud of my journey, of the hard work, of the sacrifice. I'm so grateful for it. I'm so grateful for that bus stop to be there and my hostel to be where it was at the time. For me, taking the courage to walk in and ask what's going on. Such a small decision that had such a massive impact on my life. And yeah, I've made friends. I've changed the way I was living my life. I'm healthier than I've ever been, apart from a sore back. But yeah, it's so good. So yeah, I would just wanted to express a lot of gratitude for that place, for CrossFit in general, but to me as well for being confident enough to try it, being confident enough and courageous, brave enough to keep going, even though I was probably very bad at it. No one really remembers how bad they were when they started. But it's like, I would have been so bad, and now I'm like pretty good. Not great. There's a lot of people better than me, but I'm light years ahead of where I was 10 years ago. So I'm just grateful for that. But yeah, I shed a few tears. The drinks probably didn't help, and the fact that I had a tough week, feeling all this surge of emotion, of positive emotions, was just too much for my body, so I had to release a bit of emotion. But it was good. It was good tears, really good tears. I was a bit anxious I was going to cry on the podcast as well, but I think it's okay. I think I made it past the hard point now. So yeah, this is why I do this, because I can reflect on my life. I can acknowledge that it's been a challenging week, but also it has allowed me to reflect on my life from the last 10 years and how much progress I've made. So I'm just glad I'm doing this thing. CrossFit, the podcast. I'm going in the right direction. And I don't know, about that thing, about identifying myself. I don't know how I'm going to change that. I don't know how I'm going to change my identity. I don't know how I'm going to remove the piece from my glass of water. But I'm going to try real hard. And it's all I can do, really. So I need to be proud of the efforts that I made and not be outcome focused, but journey focused, method focused. If I keep trying, statistically, it's gonna happen. It's gonna have to. Just statistically, if I try with everything, something will work. So just gotta keep at it, keep trying, and be the best person I can be in the meantime. Yeah, I think that's gonna be the end for today. So yeah, a bit of a roller coaster of emotions for the week, but again, this is why I'm doing this, so I can reflect on the bad things and express gratitude on the good things. Thank you for watching that episode, whenever you are, wherever you are. It helps me so much to do this. It's crazy to think that I'm doing this thing now, and it's helping me, and I'm really looking forward to record more episodes and to do it for a long time, hopefully. So to end it, thank you for watching. I'm doing this for me, but I'm glad it can help you. See you next week.